We had a disastrous terror attack yet again last night. This time it was in France. A truck plowed into crowds in Nice, France. These are people who were marching and celebrating Bastille Day. At least 84 people were killed. That's the number as I come live to you on air right now. There are 50 more that are in critical condition. So it's basically a guarantee that the 84 number goes up and might go up quite a bit. There are also 50 children who are hospitalized too. There are some reports that this attack was specifically of a family event. This was a family event. This particular area where people were marching on Bastille Day, it had families. It had little kids. 84 people killed. So cops eventually shot through the window of the truck that was running people over and killed the attacker. Those were the initial reports. Again, right before I came on air here, we're getting more and more information as time goes by. It usually takes 2-3 days to get everything really concrete and factual, but there are some reports earlier today that there was actually an exchange of gunfire, and it wasn't just shooting through the window, the cop shooting through the window that put this person down. There was actually a gunfight. And then also, local officials said that the truck was, quote, loaded with arms and grenades. So perhaps there was even more damage that was attempted to be done here. And some of them were apparently fake, though. So conflicted reports on that. I don't know if all the arms and grenades were fake or if it was just some of them. Well, obviously it wasn't all of them because they're saying there was some gunfire back and forth at this point. So an absolutely grotesque terror attack. We actually have identified the terrorist, 31-year-old Mohamed Lahouaiej. I'm definitely butchering that. Bouhlel. Mohamed Lahouaiej Bouhlel. He's originally from Tunisia. The articles have not explained the motive yet, but I'll go ahead and go out on a limb here and give you what will likely be the three potential options, and actually I would guess there's going to be a mix of them. So as usually happens in the wake of these terror attacks in these situations, they'll say a couple different things. So the first one, I'm sure, will be this, you'll find some statements online or wherever where this person says, hey man, the French, you guys colonized Tunisia, so I'm getting back for that. So for those of you who don't know, from 1881 to 1956, France was in Tunisia, and then obviously through that time, brutal rule, so on and so forth. We know how these things went. So this could be something where it's an argument that he makes. None of this in any way is a justification. This guy's a brutal, horrific, disgusting, grotesque, terrorist, murderer, savage barbarian. So let's be perfectly clear about that. The other thing that he might bring up, as oftentimes is the case, by the way, we're just waiting, TikTok, until ISIS takes responsibility for this. Because it's a guarantee. After all these things now, whether there was actual communication with the main group or not, eventually they'll come out and say, yes, it was from us. So I'm just waiting on that. I can guarantee you that that's going to happen at some point. But the other thing they say is, Syria. I'm responding for what's happening in Syria and Iraq, and oh my God, this is horrible. The big bad Westerners are killing innocent people. They're killing my people. They're killing my people in Syria, so I had to respond for that. Yeah, I think that logic breaks down. Why? If that's what you're truly concerned about, well, it's a weird way to show that killing innocent people is wrong by killing innocent people. So, you can never understand the logic of terrorists because they don't have logic. So it's just blind rage and, fight back. And if I just so happen to kill innocent women and children, man, little kids, well, what was I going to do? I had to do it because you're so big and bad and savage, you Westerners, that you killed innocent people. You just killed innocent people. You just did. So, again, it breaks down. The logic never makes any sense. These are grotesque terrorist actions. And then, of course, the third thing, and overwhelmingly likely that there will be something that leaks on this within the day, I would imagine, is the age-old defense. My God told me I have to kill you. And please, please, please don't be in the crowd that says this has nothing to do with religion. Now, again, as of right now, we don't know all the facts. So I'm letting you know, and I'm giving you the three different possibilities of what are going to be motives. Obviously, there are other possibilities, but these are the three most likely ones. And I would be surprised if there wasn't a mix of these different things that we find out eventually. But don't be in the crowd that says this has nothing to do with religion. Of course, I mean, there's an old saying, I forget who came up with it, forgive me. But the idea is, if you're not a psychopath, so obviously just sheer out-and-out sociopaths, psychopaths are capable of doing this kind of damage. But to make a normal person do something as barbaric and savage as this, it takes the brainwashing and the Kool-Aid of fundamentalist religion. So the thing is, if you actually believe it, and I know it's hard for people to imagine that there are people in the world that believe this shit, but if you actually believe that God is telling you you have to slaughter these people, women, children, who gives a fuck? They're all bad, they're all evil, they're all infidels. Well, if you believe that, well, then it becomes illogical not to do it in their sick, twisted minds. So, of course, there can be a strong component of brainwashing and literalism, and we need to understand that that's a scourge that needs to be addressed. And I don't want anybody to deny any aspect of the motive when it comes out, when we get all the facts on it. But I'm already seeing it now, man. People like to live in a black and white world where you can pin everything on just one thing. So, you know, for the people who say it has nothing to do with religion, they almost always focus on, oh, it's got to be revenge or retribution for Western actions in these various countries in the Middle East. But then there's the other crowd that says, no, it always, in every circumstance, all it has to do with is religion. Well, that's not really true either, because it's not like the most devout are always terrorists. There are plenty of very devout people who are not terrorists and who actually live the exact opposite life, and they're super peaceful. So this isn't to blame all Muslims in any way, shape, or form. But the reality of the world is that it's disgusting and it's messy, and, you know, you can have an amalgamation of different factors that go into determining what leads somebody to do such horrific acts. But at the end of the day, I can tell you for sure, this is not the way forward. This is not how you do it. This is insane savagery. When is it going to stop, man? When is it going to stop? I wish I had some sort of, you know, concrete answers for you as to, well, this is how we move forward and this is how we address it. I don't. I mean, how can anybody look at this stuff and say, I got it, I know exactly what we have to do? There's already people coming out talking about restricting civil liberties, doing more bombings. I mean, we've been bombing all along. It doesn't seem to have made it better. I'm not saying that because I'm some sort of pacifist. In fact, I'm not a pacifist. I believe in doing violence for self-defense. But my point is that doesn't seem to solve the problem, because it seems like, it appears like this stuff keeps on happening. So I don't have any answers for you today. I only have grief for you today. I only have mourning for you today. I only have confusion and anger for you today. And the only thing I'd caution is, again, I'd keep reminding people and I'd keep telling people all the evidence matters, all the data matters. So, you know, again, I don't know any of the facts yet in terms of the motive, because nobody's reporting on that. But I can almost guarantee you it's probably going to be a mix of those three different things, where he'll say, oh, you colonized our people, and oh my God, you're killing innocents in Syria, so now I must kill innocents here. That makes no sense. And, oh yes, my God told me to do it, so I had to do it. I had to do it. Fuck your God. Your God is not real. Your God is not true. You know, this goes to everybody who's a true Kool-Aid drinker. It's not real. Stop basing your life on it. There are over 4,000 religions in the world right now. You really think you're that special? You just happen to be in the right one. I picked the right one. I hit the lottery. I picked the right one. Every other religion throughout history, dead wrong. Mine, right. You're not that special, okay? You're just like everybody else, born in a different cultural context, in a different religious context, and brainwashed with your own myths. It's amazing that in 2016, we live on a planet where people still effectively believe the equivalent of somebody in Rome who actually believes in the Roman gods, or in Greece who believes in the Greek gods, or some random tribe in the Amazon disconnected from the modern world that believes in, some sort of pagan gods and certain rituals and tribal jungle gods. None of them are real. Bad ideas lead to bad actions. Bad ideas have consequences. The violence has to end. And denying all the different parts of the problem is not going to help in that respect. So, moving forward, let's look at all the evidence. Let's evaluate it. Let's be intelligent and let's be rational.